Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA business media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better. On behalf of the whole MIKEKINGBIZ ecosystem, we say a big thank you.
Good morning, everybody. This is Anna Sothen with RVA Connected here at the MIKEKINGBIZ radio show with ESPN Richmond 106.1 Call Federal Studio. And I am super excited to have, well, I mean, you guys are my friends. So my friends, Chris and Kelly Johansson here from Back Nine. So you're going to hear their story about how they came to owning this franchise and why they're doing it. So let's go ahead and get started. So Kelly, go ahead and tell people who you are.
My name is Kelly Johansson, and I am an owner of a couple different businesses with my husband and some on my own.
And I love that the fact that they are a husband and wife team. And you guys have heard me say this, over the years. I've asked my husband if he'll come and work with me, and his answer is absolutely not, because I want to remain married to you. So I always admire people who can actually work together and live together and spouse together. So congratulations to you guys. All right, Chris.
My name is Chris Johansson. I'm part owner with my wife for the Back Nine. Also own Creativescapes, and we design pools and outdoor living spaces.
I love it. And so Kelly also owns Long Weekend, which is basically you drink, she drives, so you stay safe. So if you ever need those services, we'll tag all of your businesses so that they can see that as well too. But then you guys own a couple Airbnb. So they're serial entrepreneurs, this is not your first rodeo, as they would say.
Yeah.
But let's talk about why get into, because it's not like all of your businesses are somewhat related, right? Like they don't, it's, like you own a food truck and then you own a restaurant, like those would sort of make sense.
Right.
Like all of your businesses are very different than one another. So why Back Nine? Like why go into this adventure specifically?
Well, I kind of beg to differ actually, because I started seeing how many, when I'm designing pools and outdoor living spaces, how many putting greens, how many simulator sheds I was putting in people's backyards.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
so maybe it does.
It does kind of connect. And that kind of got the idea. And then I was talking to my wife, I was like, I would like to have a golf simulator in my backyard.
Okay.
We make money off it.
Well, yeah, started researching.
Said every husband ever,
Right, exactly.
Honey, how can we create this man shed?
Join the masses.
Yes.
Then I started researching how much room you needed, how much ceiling space you needed, and just saw that our garage couldn't accommodate that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then just thinking the way that we think is like, well, if we want something, how can we make something that we want and make money out of it?
Yeah.
That's kind of how we got started with the Airbnbs, of having a vacation house that paid for itself, and we like to travel. So
yeah.
It's kind of got that ball rolling.
Okay. So let's talk about, because this is always a question that people, or I'm always curious about it, right? When you go into business, you can create your own business like you guys have, right? Or you have the opportunity to franchise or purchase a franchise. So what made you decide to go with the franchise versus, hey, this concept is out there, right? So here's what I believe. No concept out there is really truly unique, right? It's some sort of deviation of, of something else. But why do a franchise versus just doing it on your own?
Okay. I'll take this one. I mean, we had both started businesses from scratch, and we know the hard work that goes into it. So balancing the businesses that we already had versus adding a new one, we wanted that support. And also the global reach. Back Nine is all over the United States. We're going to start having state championships of Back Nine versus other Back Nine stores.
Oh,
so
fun.
We'll have a Virginia tournament.
Okay.
Whoever wins the Virginia tournament will play other states, other Back Nine champions.
Okay.
And actually it's going global. Back Nine is now in Canada and New Zealand.
And Australia.
Oh, okay.
And the UK.
Love it. Okay.
And then whoever wins the United States, I would assume, I don't know if that's been officially formed. The United States, state versus state, has been formed and announced, but I would imagine the next steps would be country versus country.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I will not be.
I won't be there.
So I
I've seen your
went.
skills.
Yes, or lack thereof. So I went because a friend of ours was doing an event there. And so Kelly was like, well, go ahead and grab a club. And I mean, like total, like, I mean, if I think I created a wind tunnel in their location. It's one of those things, skills that I should probably
We
learn.
are not either. And that's what's kind of frustrating about owning back nines. Everybody thinks we're really good at golf.
Oh, yeah,
But we're not.
Well, fake it until you
look
make
the
it.
part.
Yeah, we can look like
part.
we're
Yeah,
good at golf.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm a firm believer of faith that until you make it, and
Yeah.
then, you know, put it out there and it shall become true. But so let's talk a little bit about the space, right? So what makes your space so different?
So when you first come in, we've got a little lounge area. Well, we actually have 2 lounge areas. And then we've got a conference room, a little kind of nook area with a coffee bar.
Mhm.
And then we have our 3 bays.
I love
And
it.
of course, bathrooms.
Yes,
And a
yes,
very nice conference room.
yes. The conference room is very, very nice. And it's sort of like tucked away so that if you have to
Mhm.
have a meeting, right?
Yep.
But so let's talk about what do the simulation bays look like? What are you, because it's like one of the,
Individualized.
yeah, it's like one of those things, like what game do you, it's like, you know, in your game console, like
Mhm.
what game do you want to play?
Yeah.
So like, what are the differences between those different games? Like, what's the benefit of doing that versus doing it out on the golf course?
Well, you have
Other than you don't have an entire golf course watching you whiff.
right. Well, that's what's great about
Very true.
Right.
our bays. They're 16 feet wide by 20 feet deep.
Okay.
So they're big bays and they're
Yeah.
private.
Right.
So people like me and my wife, who can shank a ball and be in private, not have somebody.
Is that what
you
it's
know,
called? The shanking a ball?
Yeah. You know,
Is that when you hit it and it goes like,
puzzle it. Or,
okay.
It goes, don't.
Oh, yeah.
Like pinball between them.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Definitely
didn't
guilty.
do that.
I'm guilty of that.
But it's very private. Every bay is set up as their own entertainment space. Every bay's got its own fridge, TV.
Oh, I love that.
Sound bar.
I mean, I remember the
soundbar.
TV, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize that there was a fridge in it.
Right. So
too.
since we're a private membership, it is BYOB
Okay.
and food. So we don't serve beverages or
Okay.
food. You're more than welcome to bring your own in.
Okay.
Throw them in the fridge. We have DoorDash come to our. DoorDash delivers beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Does it?
I didn't know
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
they'll deliver beer, food. We have DoorDash. I think we have a dedicated DoorDash person just to
At this point.
And
Yeah.
we're right there at Walmart and Sam's Club. So it's like,
Super
get your groceries
easy.
and then come.
Yeah, and then
And
just
enjoy.
come enjoy it.
We have some guys that are like, I told my wife I was going to the store to go get some stuff. And then he brings it in with him, puts it in our fridge, and then plays golf.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just gave away your secret.
Right. But it is true.
Yeah.
He did go to the grocery
Yeah,
store.
he did.
He
He's
just
not
didn't.
lying.
Yes, he just
Yeah.
didn't mention the
Lines
pit
at the
stop.
grocery store were around the corner.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It took me a really long time. Okay, so what's the benefit for a business owner to like come and use, you know, obviously like a golfer wants to come in there and they can, you know, perfect their swing or whatever, or not perfect their swing, like me, but what's the benefit of a business owner? Because that's who you guys really want to connect with, is business owners out in the community,
Most
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I would say the big thing is, you know, when you're, and I know this from experience from my work, when you're putting together an outing for golf, you know, say 4 to 8 people, that's a lot of organizing.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
lot of putting
Herding
together
cats.
people's schedule,
Yes.
herding cats, exactly.
Yeah, it's like herding
So
cats.
you put in all that work and then it rains.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
true.
like just the days flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
But, you know, say if you do go out on the golf course, the only time you're together is on the tee box.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So, you
Other
know,
than that, you're just driving in the golf
you need
cart
to
with
like
one other person.
strategically partner yourself that you're riding in the cart with that one business owner, but then there's, you know, 7 other business owners that you're not even talking to.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, at our place, you're condensed. You could have a meeting in the conference room and then go out on the simulators. You're all in one bay talking to each other, socializing.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
always sunny. It's always 70 degrees. You're not going to lose your golf balls.
Right.
And,
Yeah. That's
and
true.
also just the people are more comfortable. You may have a business owner that's not comfortable on the golf course,
Yeah.
but they're comfortable coming in here, you know, maybe drinking a few beverages and swinging a few clubs.
How many people can your bays hold? I know that, I mean, they're large bays, but like how many people can you like comfortably fit?
5 to 6.
5 to 6.
Mhm.
Okay. That's cool.
But with our corporate membership, you can rent up to 2 bays.
Okay.
So you could rent the conference room in a bay or 2 bays. So you can have up to 10 to 12 people.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your memberships, like what the different tiers are and the benefits of using having those different memberships.
Yeah. Okay.
Still you?
Still me?
That's why I put you outside in the center.
Oh,
right,
man.
exactly.
I feel like I'm talking way too much. So we have a PAR membership, and that PAR membership's just basically it's the most cost-effective one.
Okay.
It allows 1 hour tea times, but no guests. So it's for that person who just wants to come in and work on a swing and
Okay.
kind of be left alone and just work on his game.
Okay.
Step up from that would be birdie.
Okay.
That's where we have 2 hour tea times and 3 guests.
Okay.
So it's 3 guests, not including yourself.
Okay,
So
so 4
you could
people.
have a foursome
Okay.
out on the golf course. And then Eagle is a step up from that, and that's where you're allowed 3 hour tea times
Okay.
and 4 guests plus yourself.
Gotcha. Okay.
Also with the Eagle membership, you can have 2 tea times. So the other ones you can only have 1 tea time, active tea time. So
Okay.
we don't limit your tea times per week, per month, but you can only have 1 active tea time, meaning you can have a tea time Friday at 5, and as soon as that's over, you can make another tea time.
Gotcha. Okay.
But with the Eagle, you can have 2 active tea times. So you
Gotcha.
can have a tea time Friday at 5 and Saturday at 7, and then leapfrog kind of.
Gotcha.
And as we get busier and the tea times get taken up, they'll become more valuable.
Right. Yeah. That'll be.
Or like I've seen before, but you can stack. Like, so you've got 3 hour, you have 2 3 hour increments. You can come for your whole workday
Mhm.
and have your clients meet you there and different pop in and out. And so you're literally,
I watched that when we were there.
Yes,
like
you're literally having
standing
people
at the
meet
door.
you.
Yeah. Standing at the door, and you're like, "Oh my God, I hope the 2 don't meet in the parking lot." And they met in the parking lot.
So you gotta work it out.
Right, yeah.
The person that you met that one day has come back, and I think he's
Figuring it out.
He's figuring it out.
He's
Yeah.
figuring it out. Yeah.
But
Do a little
it's
buffer.
definitely you can work there all day
Yeah.
and just play golf in between.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
There's something I was going to ask you about Schneikes. Oh, the 24 hours.
Yes.
Like, okay, so I have to ask, has anybody come in the middle of the night to?
Oh,
We
yes.
had somebody
Really?
there at 1:30 last night.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I myself, we were coming back from somewhere, and I was like, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom." I pop in there, and there were people there.
I love
Well,
So that was
It's really good for first responders.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. Okay.
Crazy
Yeah,
work
definitely.
hours.
Yeah.
Policemen. We also do give a 10% discount for military and first responders.
Okay.
So those things are really good for the crazy hours. Doctors, lawyers,
Okay.
shift workers.
Gotcha.
But we also have like the new dads we have a couple new dads
yes, we do.
who will
Thank you, Father's Day.
Right, yeah.
we'll either come in at like 5:30 in the morning while the baby's sleeping.
Yeah.
Or even bring their baby in at like 5:30 in the morning and let it sleep in the stroller or
Yeah.
carrier and hit balls.
I love that.
Yeah.
They make really, really cute little earmuffs for
Oh.
babies these days.
That's awesome. I was just thinking, like, there's another side business. Be like, hey, like you're here at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's talk about your sleep schedule. Like,
Right.
let's put you in contact with like a sleep specialist or something like that. Okay.
Child care center next door. That would be.
Yes, that would be. So
Drop
you
your
just
kid
drop
off.
your kid
There
off.
is a restaurant spot still open in the area. So for all those people who are restaurant owners,
Okay.
that instead of DoorDash, you got a
Steady street.
a sweet
Yeah.
little gig,
Yeah.
with you got some good food. We'll send them your way.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can partner together and make some sort of like package or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys opened when? 2 months ago? 3 months ago now?
I believe the official date was April 16th.
Okay.
So like,
We'll stay.
yeah.
Ish.
I forget, to be honest. So like 2 to 3 months.
Okay. Do you guys remember your anniversary date?
We'll have to look that up.
Okay. Like as long as you can remember that, everything else can be ish.
We'll just say April 1st. So
Okay.
April Fool's Day.
Okay. I love it. I love it. And how's it going so far?
It's going great. I mean,
Good.
we're really starting to, the snowball is rolling,
Yeah.
and building. We're definitely picking up. a good amount of members, good amount of public tea times. So a lot of people, it is a private club.
Okay.
So members get 24-hour access.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you can go hour to hour.
Okay.
So
you can do like a pop-in.
Public tea times. And that you can book a time from 9 to 7.
Okay.
9 a.m. to 7 p.m. But to get 24-hour access, you have to be a member.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we're really starting to see things pick up. I don't know if anybody's looked at the weather, but it's supposed to be like 100+ degrees later this week. So
yep, I think 101 on either Friday or Saturday or something like that.
Tea time Friday.
Right.
Oh, wow, that's
Outside.
Outside.
In the wild.
I know,
Right.
in the wild. I might have to.
Brave.
I might have to move my tea time inside. But no, we've definitely have, more and more people are hearing about us.
Yeah.
And starting to see a lot more traffic.
I love that.
It's fantastic.
So tell people where you guys are located. Like we've talked. I mean, you said you were right there by Walmart, right? But there's a ton of Walmarts. So.
So we're Midlothian Turnpike. We're right behind Sam's Club.
Yep.
There's a strip mall right back there. 2013 Walmart Way.
Awesome.
Midlothian, Virginia.
And your website?
Just the easiest thing to do is just Google back 9 Midlothian.
Okay. Perfect. What's your phone number? I said I wouldn't ask any hard questions.
We'll link that in the, in the bio.
That's fine. We can link that in the
Yes,
we'll link that in the comments.
It's 804 something golf.
Okay. I love it.
I have to remember 3 numbers and I didn't do it.
It's one of them, Kelly.
Yeah.
You're supposed to give me a heads up.
I know. I apologize.
Oh, no.
It's all good.
That's all good. Yes, we'll just link it. We'll link not only their website, but then their phone number as well too, and their address as well.
Now it's gonna eat them up.
I know, right? Yeah. I tell people all the time, like I don't give you the questions beforehand because I want it to be,
that's very obvious.
I want it to be, a natural conversation. But yes, there's always one that people are like
804-480-5653, which is 804-480-GOLF.
Awesome. I love it. So last parting thoughts or one last thing that you want to share with our audience.
What you got? Anything?
Just
Both of you.
Just golf's a very social sport, and a lot of people are timid to get into it. So this is a great place to come and try it. Private bay. We do offer golf lessons. We are going to be offering club fittings as well.
Because a well-fitting club is a thing.
Yes.
Like if you don't have one, that's why. That's why I did so
exactly.
terrible.
We definitely want to have some social events, trying to put together some ladies events, and of course.
Actually, we're going to have a catered social party for the Open coming up. The weekend of July 16th, 17th.
Awesome.
I think it's July 17th is the Sunday.
Okay.
We're gonna have that. So
awesome.
So yeah, we wanted to build. We call it a golf simulator and social club.
Yeah.
So we wanted to build a place where you come play golf, but also hang out. We got the 2 lounges. We got the conference room. People come play golf. Don't feel like you have to leave right away. Watch some TV. Bring your laptop, sit around the conference room, watch a sports game. Yeah. So we wanted to build a community, something to support the golf community in a social aspect.
I love that.
We're gonna start having poker games, monthly poker games, and so yeah.
I love that.
And bigger picture of it. I mean, we are family oriented, and so
100%.
We do have our best cleaner. Is your man right here, but I'm probably second in that, but we're starting to get our son and our daughter involved in the whole process. So at first it was pulling teeth, but now they're like, oh, so I have to clean in order to book some time on the bay, and we're like, yep, you do.
I love that. Well, you're teaching them at a young age what it means to be an owner, right?
Yeah.
And so I've shared this all the time, and there's a book called The Who, Not the How. Right. And so it's basically about entrepreneurship, but how people the story in the book is about a baker. She loves baking cakes. Right. And so then all of a sudden she was like, well, I want to have a storefront. So now she becomes this business owner. Right. So it goes from a hobby of I bake cakes and I do a really good job to now I have a business. And then you realize that once you have the business, now you're not only the baker, Now you're the HR person, you're the
everything.
marketing person, you're
Oh,
all
yes.
the things. You clean, you do procurement, all of these things. But I love that you guys are teaching that at such a young age, that there is more to it's not all glitz and glamour, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And
Yes.
that's why I have this radio show, is because each story is unique. Like there's nobody else on the planet who has the story that you guys have, right? So that's one. But two, being an entrepreneur can be very isolating and very lonely. And
Yeah.
we're in this alone, but we're not alone, right? And so our stories, your stories is going to resonate with somebody else who's like, oh, I'm going through the same thing, or I've done the same thing, right? And so creating that community of connection where we can build those relationships between, because I'm not a gatekeeper. Like if you need to know somebody, give me a call. Like I'll connect you to that person, right? And I think that's what we need more of, especially in the business community, is that we have each other's backs, and let's have those conversations. And it's hard. It's hard to be a business owner,
is.
right?
It's,
It's not, like I said, it's not a
It can
picnic.
be very lonely. But
can be very
I think
lonely.
what's great about the community, though, of business owners is your problem is not unique.
Correct.
Maybe your business is unique,
Correct. Yes.
but all businesses
Go through the same.
face the same
Have
problem.
gone through the same
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. Some
And-
sort of variation of like or
Mhm.
hiring, right? Like everybody has hiring issues, and maybe yours is a little bit more unique, but hiring issues is a global thing, right? It's not
Yeah.
just a you thing. So yeah, I agree. So
And you did ask about like why we went franchise versus.
Yeah.
So Back Nine has a ton of stores popping up still, but they have cross play. So if a member from our place wants to go to Virginia Beach, they can
Oh, I love
cross
that.
play at another
Yeah.
place. So I mean,
cross play, not cosplay. So I just want to make sure that we like cross play. Like, I don't want somebody to be here then they're like, oh, they're into cosplay, and then show up and like some sort of be like, oh, I mean, sure.
I mean, hey,
yeah,
that might be
sure.
our next social
Right,
thing day,
exactly.
you know?
There you go. You got $1 million idea.
Yeah. But that was like one of the like things that we loved about Back Nine, and they do a lot of great stuff. Like we went to a conference in Arizona, and we literally did. Everyone volunteered at a different thing. Like it was ours was a farm, and this guy was up on the roof building, and
love that.
like
Laying
Yeah.
shingles.
yeah.
I love that. I love
And
My
that.
back
so-
was sore for
Yeah.
But like Back Nine gives back,
Right.
and like that's what I love.
Yeah.
Right.
I like
And
that.
yeah, it is a franchise, but we live in Powhatan. We're
Right.
local.
Yeah.
It's not people from out of town.
Yeah,
So.
and I think that's important, right? So we want to support local, because small businesses are the backbone of America, right? And so
Absolutely.
we definitely want to support our own, right?
Yes,
And not
for
that there's
sure.
anything wrong with big global businesses, but truly, again, small businesses are the backbone of America. So definitely support your friends, right?
Yeah.
So again, one more time, phone number.
804-480-GOLF. I'll
Perfect.
remember that forever.
There you go. You are welcome. And then your address right over there off of Walmart Way.
2013 Walmart Way.
Say it in two
Midlothian,
different ways, and people will hear it
and
two different ways.
directly behind Sam's Club. So if you're pumping your gas and you look through and you see a little golf sign, come in and see us.
Yeah,
Or over at
absolutely.
Wegmans, come across the street. and see
Yeah.
us.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for being here. Tune in next week, because I have Sherry Highland with RVA Revitalize. She's a new business that just opened in Powhatan.
Nice.
So she does PEMF and laser therapy and all kinds of sort of, I guess, alternative healing, which I love. So
Are we really doing this?
It's your call.
Call Federal Credit Union, your best call for mortgages.
Close your eyes, let whispers unfold, a story untold, magic astounds. Lost in wonder, let your mind soar, where dreams take flight.
We're good?
Children's Hospital Foundation, the Cameron K. Elder Foundation, James King,
1,000 minutes of broadcast time donated.
Beyond Boundaries, the Virginia Down Syndrome Association,
Nonprofits telling their story, maximizing their impact.
Richmond Region Tourism, the Chesterfield Chamber of Commerce,
Creating partnerships that make a difference.
Chicago Office of Economic Development,
MIKEKINGBIZ, the social enterprise brand
Council Chamber,
on a mission. MIKEKINGBIZ.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Red Tip on the Mic with Mike King here, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Media Center, sponsored by iTime Commercial Realty, as well as Call Federal Credit Union. We're here. You can follow us on all the social platforms, which are on the Mic with Mike RVA, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube, 10 a.m. to 12, and ESPN Richmond, Saturday, 6 a.m. in the East is where you find us, talking to the best and the brightest. Friend of the family came back. Jennifer Wakefield is back with us again. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Mike.
So we've been together a number of times, supported the program. So tell folks who you are and what you do.
Sure. I am the president and CEO of the Greater Richmond Partnership. We are the lead regional economic development organization for the region. We represent the city of Richmond and then the counties of Chesterfield, Hanover, and Henrico. And we are a public-private partnership. So we've got the 4 public sector partners, and then we have about 120 private sector businesses that assist us in our work. And what do? We recruit companies to this market.
So, and the companies that you recruit, big ones, small ones, so go down the list of where most of the companies who come from. There was one on the list that kind of stood out. So, okay, so you have the UK, Germany, all those. Go through the list again for me.
Sure. Well, for the last 10 years or so, historically, half of all of our efforts have included international companies that are looking at Richmond, typically for their first expansion or their first footprint into the U.S. So half come from the U.S. and half come from international places. The majority of those are from the UK, Germany, France, Ireland, Denmark, Brazil, and Japan. Okay,
the Brazil was the one that stood out.
Mm-hmm.
What is so attractive about the Richmond region here that Brazil?
It's been a number of years since we've had a Brazilian company locate here, but we've had a few in the manufacturing space and in the food and beverage space that have located here. However, their economy, I think, took a little downturn. It seems to be on an upward trajectory, and so we were planning to travel to Brazil with an organization called Select USA and with Select USA later this year.
So when we talked before, so the entities compete with each other somewhat.
Which entities?
So Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield.
Yes,
but they
and no.
don't, like you said to me, they don't.
Yes and no. When a company is looking at a place to expand or relocate, first they're looking at what kinds of policies are happening at the state level, right? And then they're looking at data on the regional level. And then it's really just a matter of real estate. Which jurisdiction has the real estate footprint that will work for the project that we have? So they compete, but they don't. They work very well together.
And that's what you told us before. So the idea of, we talked before that you were on a panel that I had regarding Lego.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big project, but big things happen on a regular basis here.
Yeah.
When we talk about site selection, and I said somebody had to get that site ready for something years ago.
Correct.
And I always thought that somebody needed to be a salesman for that piece of land, mm-hmm. so that one day something pops up. Explain to our viewers that process, that there's a piece of land, but we have to have it ready when an opportunity arises.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very forward thinking. This is really the realm and the jurisdiction of the local jurisdictions. And so with that piece of property you're talking about in Chesterfield County. And so Chesterfield County had years prior deemed that, this was already zoned, this was already ready. And so when an opportunity came in, it was ready to go. And so each of our jurisdictions do the same thing through their comprehensive planning processes and whenever there are zoning requests and making sure that there are sites and buildings that are available for clients when they're ready.
Mike King, Jennifer Wakefield here, the Greater Richmond Partnership. So you had said the top international entities that come here. Where are we with the U.S. based? Like, what are the top places that come to Richmond and select Richmond, the region?
Where are they coming from? The Northeast through D.C. So a lot of New York, a lot of Philadelphia, Connecticut, New Jersey, down to D.C. is the majority of them. Then there'll be some from Chicago, and then kind of from all over.
So the areas that they're coming from, what is the draw?
They are much higher cost and more highly taxed and highly regulated states.
Okay, makes sense.
And they're not as predictable and stable as Virginia has been over the years.
I've seen you on panels talking about workforce development, having the talent ready for opportunities.
Correct.
How are we looking these days now from a workforce development perspective?
Our talent here is fantastic, but unfortunately, sometimes we will lose a project because of the quantity of the workforce.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so right now, the Greater Richmond Partnership is working on a talent attraction campaign. What we found through a strategic planning process about 1.5 years ago, we worked with EY and we worked with a number of the firms that are here, and we worked with a lot of our clients. And what they told us is that we were losing projects because they couldn't meet the demands of the types of talent. Now, this is not just any talent. This was mid-level experienced talent, so 5 to 15 years of experience. So Richmond tends to do very well with students when they're first graduating college, right? Then there's a slight dip when you look at demographics, and then people tend to come back. And so what we're trying to do is essentially this is a little early to talk about it, but we've been in the planning stages of this, but we've identified 4 different personas of types of talent in that mid-level skill. And so a lot of them would be those boomerangs that might come back.
One of the things we look at, we always hear about the brain drain.
Mm-hmm.
But when we look at what Richmond attracts, it is younger people.
Yeah.
But it's that 30 to 45, I would guess, where we're kind of losing people.
Historically, if you look at demographics, yes, that's where we're losing some people. Yes. However, with that said, what we need to make sure is that there is some degree of brain drain for sure, right? That happens because, when when adults are graduating from college, they're looking at the attractiveness of larger markets. The reality is that we are a mid-sized market, and we will always be a mid-sized market, and we want to be a mid-sized market, right? We don't want to be the next whatever city. We want to be Richmond. And so sometimes there's an attractiveness of going to a larger city, and then people come back. So yes, we do lose some people because of that. What we do need to highlight as an organization and as a region is all the fantastic things that are going on, and you do such a great job of helping tell that story, so that we can retain those adults to want to stay here because there's so many fantastic things that are going on.
As far as draws go, who are the other people who are like you in the state, and who is the one who draws the most? Is it the Greater Richmond Partnership?
So who are like us?
Who are like
other organizations?
Yes.
So the most comparable organization of the Greater Richmond Partnership is the Hampton Roads Alliance in Hampton Roads. But we don't really compete within the state for the most part. We are mainly competing with peers to our south. So we are competing with Charlotte. We're competing with Raleigh. We're competing with Nashville. We're competing with Charleston. We're competing with Columbus, Ohio.
And they're all mid-sized markets.
They're all mid-sized markets. Most of them are a tad bit larger than we are.
So a while back when we talked about CoStar coming, do we still have that advantage to draw when others don't because of the mindset of the state?
Well, let's also go back because CoStar actually didn't select Richmond. In 2016, when they were looking to establish their research headquarters, they selected Charlotte, North Carolina. But the year was 2016, and North Carolina decided to pass the discriminatory bathroom bill, HB2. And so CoStar decided we don't want our company, we have values of inclusivity, and we want to be somewhere where our values are held to the same level. And so their backup location was Richmond, Virginia. So we won CoStar because we are an inclusive place.
Do we still have that distinction?
We do.
I was still thought a while back, sorry, Mike King here, you had said that a person wondered how inclusive Richmond, the region, was. Mm-hmm. And you said, it's very.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, she's paid to say that. And then the data bears it out.
The data does bear it out.
The data does bear it out.
We are, I believe the percentage is, 41% non-white from a racial perspective. We are one of the most religiously diverse cities in the nation. And we have a perfect score on what's called the Municipal Equality Index, which is a measure by the Human Rights Campaign on LGBTQ plus IA friendliness.
There was a guy I met who was in that group, and he had said he went to Virginia Tech. I said to him, why did you select Richmond? And he said, because it's inclusive and it's friendly, and I feel welcome and safe here. That's exactly what you had said to me 2 years ago. And I'm like, he says, you can look, it shows up in the data. It shows up in how people are attracted to come here.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, myself, I mean, that level played a very important part in why I decided to relocate my family here. I wanted to make sure that we were moving to a very inclusive place. I came from an inclusive place. I wanted to make sure this was an inclusive place. And my cousin, who is non-binary and gay, had gone to VCU, and they had suggested that we relocate here, and we did.
So when people come, what's the biggest misconception that people have of Richmond and the area? That when they get here, like, wow, it's not what I thought.
The biggest misconception is lack thereof. There is no perception of Richmond out there. And so we have been doing a decent job, but we're hoping that this new attraction campaign will do a better job of trying to tell the story of all the great things that are happening here. We do perception research on an annual basis with corporate executives and with this group of people called site selection consultants who are involved in about half of all economic development projects. And let's just take, the last 5 years or so. In 2021, when we asked corporate executives, had they ever considered the Richmond market as a place to expand and relocate, only 2% had said yes.
Really?
That number is now 60%. So that has increased substantially. Now, when we asked site location consultants, have you ever considered the Richmond market as a place for a client to expand or relocate? That number was 20%. That number is now 92%. So we've definitely made some headway in consideration of Richmond for projects.
And do you think that is the outbound marketing aspect and your people going around? Your people are on the road.
It's outbound and inbound because site location consultants are a finite group. There's only about 200 of them that work on projects. They're mainly US based. We know exactly who they are. We will go outbound to those conferences and have FaceTime with them. When we go to these other markets, we will ask for one-on-one time with them to take them to lunch or coffee or meet in their offices. But in the last 5 years, we have attracted 5 conferences for site location consultants. And in addition, we have hosted what we call FAM tours for site location professionals. We've done anywhere between 2 and 4 groups of 4 site location consultants each time. So we have had a lot of site location consultants here in the last 5 years.
One of the things you had talked about the site selection process. Some years ago, you had said it was like this. Mm-hmm. During COVID, you had said, boy, it shrunk. I'm expecting, we went that way. I don't think things are going to go back.
Yes, and so what I would say is that much like my waistline.
Don't start, because you know what? I'm putting this vest on today, and I'm like, oh, Lord.
So
don't get me started.
Pre-pandemic, I would say that a typical project took about 12 months. During the pandemic, a typical project was taking about 6 months. So it had contracted substantially. And that stayed that way for a little while. Then in the last 18 months or so, what we've seen it grow, not just to the 12 months, but it's actually gone a little bit beyond. Now, a lot of projects are taking about 18 months or so. So a little bit longer than they typically used to. And that's just due to a lot of the global uncertainty and a lot of the things that are happening worldwide. And, anytime there's any level of uncertainty, people tend to pause or they might cancel a project. But what we've also seen is a resurgence of what we like to often call a Frankenstein project, a project that died and now it's come back to life. Yeah.
So explain to our viewers the part about when we talked about what elections do, regardless of the party, that there's a pause because people want to see exactly what's going to happen on the other end.
Any type of election, typically, especially those at the national level or at the state level, will cause some uncertainty because people just don't know what's going to happen. And so what will happen is leading up to any type of election, people will begin to delay their decision or their announcement process, right? And so it will begin to delay things. And then once someone comes into office, they want to see what's going to happen. That will continue to delay it.
All right, Jennifer Wakefield is here with us, ma'am. Let's go into Jennifer's story. Where are you from originally?
I am from a town called Fort Walton Beach, Florida. It is where the largest Air Force base in the world is. But I'm a military brat.
Air Force?
Air Force. Mm-hmm.
Okay, they lived well. They were our cousins who had money from the Army.
Which branch were you in?
In the Army.
In the Army, okay.
Yeah, we understood how good living was, and that was you guys. Okay, where'd you go to school, college?
I went to a place called Okaloosa Walton Community College, which is now called Northwest Florida State College. Then I went to the University of West Florida in Pensacola, Florida. And then I got my master's at the University of Central Florida in Orlando.
Well, you're just Florida based. What did you go to learn? What did you go to study originally?
I had no idea. Business.
Business.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get into the economic development world?
Well, I majored in public relations and advertising. I worked during college. I worked full time and I went to school full time because I met my husband right after high school. And I worked in banking during that time frame. My first job out of college, I thought back, I graduated the fall of 9/11. There weren't a lot of people hiring at that time.
That's great timing.
But I played a lot of Monopoly as a child, right? And so when you're playing Monopoly, who always has money on the board?
The banker.
Well,
No.
the banker.
See,
but
I was an only kid. I don't know games that took multiple people. I didn't. I was the only kid for 14 years. And so I came home from the Army on leave with a wife and a baby. My sister was in the second grade. So those games that took multiple people, I didn't know this. Okay, so Monopoly.
Okay. So Monopoly, utilities.
Okay. I've never thought of
right?
that. Yes.
You always need utilities, right? And the railroads, right? So transportation utilities. And so I became very friendly while I was in college with the head of marketing for an electric company. And so I went to work for the electric company right after graduation. I worked there for a few years, but it was a really small town. Not just my hometown, but this was an hour outside of my hometown in a town of about 8,000 people. And my husband and I wanted to locate in a larger market. And so we decided to relocate to the Orlando market. At the time, I tried to work for another utility, but didn't get a role there. And that person who had interviewed with me recommended me to someone else who worked in transportation. And thinking back to Monopoly, of course, I thought, oh, that's perfect, right? And so I went to work for what's called the MPO, so similar to what Martha Schickel or Chet run, the MPO, right? And so transportation planning, which is critically important and very important to economic development. But as someone who probably has ADHD, it's also very boring. And so I became friends with the marketing director for the Orlando Economic Development Commission. And when he left his job, he said, Jen, you should come take this. And that was 2006. So that's how I got into economic development. And then I just fell in love. There have never been 2 days that were even remotely similar.
The days are different because you guys do a number of different things. We see a lot of the big grand openings but there are a lot of smaller businesses that come here. Touch on that. It's not always, the Legos get the big splash and the co-stars, but there are businesses that come on a regular basis.
There are, and many of them are literally one person, right? So some of those examples, I don't know if you attended the Henrico Global Business Gateway opening, and Yogo Dubois talked. And so Yogo was a client of ours. We met at Select USA. He's from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so we met him at Select USA, which is a conference for international companies that are looking to invest in the U.S. And so we brought him back after Select USA on a tour of the Richmond market, and he ended up locating here, and he was the first client of the Henrico Business Global Gateway.
So for a person who's just a younger person, let's hear the sales pitch for a career in economic development.
No 2 days are ever exactly the same. It is fun. It is interesting. It is challenging.
Okay. So I always talk to leaders. How do you set culture in an organization? And I ask people this all the time. Sometimes people may not know good culture, how to explain it, but they can give you bad culture, chapter and verse. For sure. Definitely true.
It's a hard question to answer. I think a lot of it just comes from the leader and how the leader is. Sometimes, things are great, but I think it's making sure that you are connecting with your team.
That's it. Communication.
Communication.
What's next on the horizon for Greater Richmond Partnership?
As Madonna answered in 1984 to Dick Clark, I believe that was world domination. We
already had the conversation about how you get clients here. We see with a headlock. But I said that to some friends who were raise money for nonprofits, and I said, "What do? You hug people and squeeze them till the money falls out?" They're like, "Mike, that's not exactly. Well, it may not be the politically correct answer, but it is what you do. You get people on the hook. We got to get you to." From the people who come here and visit, How often do those turn into picking? Is that the hard part, getting them here to see it?
The hard part is, one, it depends on if you're like cold calling someone, right? So if you're cold calling someone and saying, hey, we'd love to have a conversation about how your business could do a great job of expanding or relocating their operations here. And so we do cold calls, but what we also do is we do a lot of digital, I'll call it sleuthing. And so we'll go into LinkedIn profiles of people who are engaged with the Greater Richmond Partnership and look to see who they're connected to. Are they connected to the companies that we're trying to chase after and the executives? And then we will ask for connections between those.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Slide into people's DMs. Hey, my name is Mike King.
That is exactly correct.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do business. Instead, their front door is locked, or they're knocking on the side door. Hey, talking to the neighbor, saying, are these guys going to sell?
Yeah.
There you go. Jennifer Wakefield is here. Ma'am, how can people follow you on the social platforms?
Visit our website, Greater Richmond Partnership, grpva.com. And we've got a link for all of our social media there.
Really quickly, women in economic development. Let's get the sales pitch for that. Like, this is a great place for women to really hang their hat and shine.
Give the sales pitch for why a woman should want to go into economic development, to change the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. Mike King, Jennifer Wakefield, the Greater Richmond Partnership. This area is dynamic, like you said. A lot of times people who are from here, the folks in Orlando don't look at Orlando the way the rest of the world looks at it. And that's the same thing with Richmond here. So congratulations on all things that you do. On the mic is Mike. We talk to the best and the brightest people out there who are making a difference. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks now. Take care. Okay, I'm done. I'm talked out.
Can I ask for one thing?
Yeah.
So I started recording on my phone. It has a better angle. We have that at the top.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the intro of Greater Richmond Partnership and yourself. Could you
Okay.
redo that over so I'll have it when I do the cut on
Sure.
both? Okay.
Do you want me to talk to Mike or to the camera? Okay.
I have a question about the microphones. So I just noticed that they're not plugged up, but you've got, is
It's
that
green.
good enough? It's good?
Yes.
Okay.
And goes
All
there.
right. I just didn't know if you
Yeah.
wanted to clip it or we
So-
rushed into that a little bit too earlier.
Yes. So so am I?
Yeah, you'll be talking to each other. So
Okay,
that you can
just-
see
So you
me.
just say,
Just
tell me a
start.
little bit about the Greater.
Okay.
Yep.
Mike King here with Jennifer Wakefield. Tell us about the Greater Richmond Partnership, ma'am.
The Greater Richmond Partnership is the lead regional economic development organization for the Richmond region. And so that encompasses 4 different jurisdictions, the city of Richmond, and then the counties of Chesterfield, Hanover, and Henrico. And we are a public-private partnership. And so our 4 local partners account for half of our funding. And the balance of our funding comes from about 120 private sector companies of all shapes and sizes. And together, our role is to recruit new companies to this market, to make sure that we have a competitive advantage over other communities that we are competing against, to market this region and enhance and alter perceptions of this market, and to provide data and business intelligence.
There you go. How are we?
Yep,
We're
that
good.
was it.
Thank you, ma'am. Could we get a picture?
Yep.
And then I want all of us to get in a picture. I just don't want to stand next to him.
price of success as a woman CEO, and how wonderful MIKEKINGBIZ put a great program together. It had 2-minute presentations from women CEOs, and then had a great panel of 4 sassy women CEOs, and then another group of women CEOs with 2-minute presentations.
This is the night that 10 years, 15, 20 years, you're going to be looking back and saying, I was here. There's an inflection point happening in technology. We get to lead it, and we get to lead it right here in Richmond.
We must prepare existing workers, students, and communities to be able to use AI so that no one is left behind.
The real story isn't AI itself. The real story is what AI makes possible. AI is the new keyboard. It's the new mouse. It's not the answer, it's the instrument. And the more people we hand that instrument to, the more possibilities we turn into realities.
People want to be together when you're making a difference. How can we make Richmond, make the region, and in part, all of Virginia, the most AI ready? A lot of people ask me, do we just want to be the Silicon Valley of the East Coast? The quote everybody keeps on having me re-ask is no. My mission is for Silicon Valley to be the Richmond of the West Coast.
Those voices are different.
Yes, they are.
I bet they are.
I don't want to hear the high one.
No, I've been married 46 years. I hear that one. I know that one. Yes. That's the one that starts off with, can I talk to you for a moment? Instantly, what did I do? There is some corrective behavior on my part that needs to happen.
But you know what you have to appreciate? We start out real soft. If you don't listen, just gets bigger.
Well, when you start, how many times? I mean, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get to it eventually. Eventually. Yeah. And then it turns into there's smoke in the city. Alrighty, ma'am. Hofheimer, 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
You guys are the staple location. It is the cool location. We did have to talk to people say, oh my God, the parking is hard.
Yeah.
But
the coolest spots in Richmond don't have parking. Let's be honest.
Exactly. And if you wanna have a good time, you might have to work a little bit.
Just take an Uber
and get there and get out and walk in.
Feel like a celebrity. Just
when I look at Harry's, I see all the gorgeous people walking in. I see the red carpet type thing, those ropes. You guys got all the pretty people coming.
They're the hot pink ropes, by the way.
Oh, that's what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 66. I might be past the hot pink rope ones are coming in. All right, ma'am, tell us who you are, what you do, and all the cool things at the Hof.
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? All right, Natalie, CEO, managing partner of Harry's at the Hofheimer in the Hofheimer building. 3-story building, rooftop bar, Harry's restaurant on the first floor, event venue on the second floor. We have everything from live music, manifesto hour, hospitality nights, DJs on Friday and Saturdays, brunch, sing-along brunch, which is a whole room full of people singing their hearts out to throwback 80s, throwback 90s, the whole nine. It doesn't just stop there. It goes on and on.
It's magical. And so, when you come up the stairs and then you see the room, the one that gets me every time are the hardwood floors. I mean, the floors are just, maybe I'm just old.
But they're old.
Yeah, but it's just something that stands out that makes it.
But the building is 98
and it has
old.
That kind of cool feel to it. So when I get up there, you get to the top of the stairs and you see the floors are shiny. It just looks.
Are they?
I'm nostalgic, but they do. See, you may look because you see it.
I know.
All the time, but when a person comes and they've never been there before, you see the look, the look of like, wow.
Well, it's a historic property. It's amazing. Yeah.
It is.
It's amazing. It's not just amazing. It's unique and different, and there's nothing like it. Do you know that the Hofheimer building was the first building in Scott's Addition, and everything around it was nothing but fields? And that thing where it's kind of stuck between like a 7-Eleven and a huge apartment complex now, it was the only thing in Scott's Addition surrounded by fields. Can you imagine that when you look at it? That's crazy. 98 years ago?
I came here in 2014, and it was like a 360 view that you could see.
Yeah.
And then the building came next door, and like, well, I guess we ain't looking in that direction anymore.
But it's nice. It does cover up the sun, and so it drops 10 degrees as soon as the sun goes over that building, which is really nice for our guests. So thank you so much, Soda Flats, for your contribution to the cooler temperatures in the afternoon.
There was a time when I got here, Scott's Addition was the place people couldn't wait to get out of. Now, you can't get in here. You cannot get Scott's Addition.
I guess you haven't been there on Friday or Saturday night at around 11?
I came from a college town, so shout out to Penn State and Happy Valley. That's what Scott's Addition is. This is a college town right here. People just walking and they're not walking in a straight line.
Well, we have a line down to Arthur Ashe Boulevard at 11 o'clock on Friday and Saturday.
That's young people's stuff.
Well, I know. I'm not there either.
They're telling you. The books are showing you what the activity is. I was wondering, I was like, wow, congratulations.
I'm going to be there this Friday. I'll see it for myself. But yes, I hear about it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm too old for that too.
Yeah, I got some miles on me. I tell people when me and my wife are out, we're keeping the streets safe until 7.
Yeah,
after 7, those mean streets. I don't know what goes on out there, but report back and let me know.
Yeah, exactly.
Report back at 7 o'clock.
But what we do have is live music for the older generation like me and you. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights on the rooftop or wherever. Wherever in the building we decide. If it's too hot, we'll put them downstairs.
Because you have the ability to put people in different locations and have different experiences. The experience on the rooftop is different than when you come down a floor.
So that's the whole thing. So you can go to the Hofheimer building, you can eat, you can have drinks. But people want more than that, right? They want live music, they want to dance, they want to paint. You can paint on Tuesday nights. You can do all sorts of things, but it's about an experience. And do people like to eat and drink and have an experience? Yes. So you can have an experience every single day of the week, except for Mondays, because we're really tired. Because the weekends are really long. And we just want to rest on Mondays.
We had a conversation before that there were times that you had to come in, and let people know, okay, people started having a good time with the music. Exactly.
The city of Richmond knows me well.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you had to let people know that I guess that's the mom voice when it's like, yeah, we're not playing because you guys are good citizens of the community and you support the community in ways that are crazy. Talk about why that's important to you.
Yeah, so over half of our business is supporting private events and celebration events for nonprofits, corporate, birthday parties, et cetera, et cetera. So, for instance, this morning when I was getting ready, I got a call from my celebration manager saying, hey, we want to have the Junior League of Richmond utilize our loft to bring in women who want to pull together gowns and prom dresses. They just want to use the space and also have an opportunity to do a wine tasting, but also collect all these gowns for their nonprofit. And so the way we see it is we have 14,000 square feet. One is a restaurant, rooftop, and then a whole second floor. The second floor isn't being utilized, then why wouldn't we let you or Junior League of Richmond come in and use it, or an art gallery, or things that give back to the community? Because let's be honest, most of the time people just are looking for space to do something really cool in the Richmond community that brings people together and impacts the Richmond community.
A couple months ago, I had a program the Women's CEO Conversation, The Price of Success.
Where was I? I'm sorry, I know.
That's what happens when you get busted, ladies and gentlemen. There's a price that women pay that men don't pay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is, I met a lady one time, she said, my husband is a fine gentleman, but he wears one, maybe two hats. We can't put too many things on him. I'm sitting with the lady interviewing her Her phone is blowing up. It's her daughter, knowing that she's on the radio, calling her. She says, "Is your dad there?" "Oh yeah, he's in the room next." "Can you go talk to him?" I'm like, "No. Why go talk to the assistant manager? He doesn't make policy. He barely knows." I was in the house all my kids forever. I said, "When did that happen? Like, where was I? You were there?" I'm like, all that went on. And what is the price of success for the woman who has to be out there? I mean, you got to go do to put on the hard hat when you're dealing with men.
Well, we just suck it up and we hire good people.
You got people here.
These two gals sitting across from me.
How do you, when we talk about that, how do you set good culture in an organization that you're able to hire and retain the best talent?
Natalie has to shrug off her stress and learn to just have fun and relax and enjoy it. Because the stress will eat you alive.
How long was it before that you were able to leave and not constantly be on I gotta check, and let your people do their thing? How long did it take?
There's no timeline. It's when you find the right people that you can trust.
Do you know it?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know when you know that you inevitably have an instinct that you're not going to be able to trust somebody, you're always right about your instincts.
Gotcha. What is the vibe at Harry's on the weekend when the beautiful people are there and people are trying to get in there? What's the vibe of the place?
Color.
That's what it is.
It's crazy.
Thank you, Natalie. It's here. Natalie, can you take? Can I have my mic?
With wagging tails and furry purrs, snakes and turtles and rabbits that twirl, sidekick adventures, just you and me, exploring the world, happy as can be. Sidekick adventures, let's have some fun with our best friends, the day's just begun.
Hey, it's Kelly Lemon from the Virginia Wayside Furniture Studio for an all-new episode of 8 at 4. It's Kelly. All right, here we go.
Hey, it's Matt Pachilli from the Virginia Wayside Furniture Studio for this food-filled
I'm Kelly
episode.
Lemon.
And I'm Michael Paul Williams.
And welcome to the After the Monuments podcast.
Happy playoff season, 804 football fans.
For the Richmond Times-Dispatch, this is Jeff Shapiro.
I'm Justin Lowe, food writer for N4 Magazine and dining critic for the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and I'm here to tell you where Richmond eats.
Our marketplace is accelerating at an unprecedented rate. At Lee Enterprises Virginia and the Richmond Times-Dispatch, we are investing in the tools, talent, and technology to tell your story through a fresh lens, lifting local brands and helping businesses grow. Let us help you amplify your message, reaching the right audience at the right time.
Welcome to the Road to Richmond bracket unveiling.
Hey, everybody. Have you ever been in a situation where you were walking into a place you didn't necessarily know, you didn't know what to expect? You were hoping you were going to be in the right room, but you weren't exactly sure. Well, Mike had that experience not too long ago where he decided that he was going to go to an event called Podfest. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Mike, when you were outside of that room, when you decided that you wanted to go there, how did you make it happen? And then we can talk about whether or not it was the right place, the right time, and the right room for you.
Hey, Bruce, thank you for the question, brother. Yeah, you know, honestly, I didn't. I had a friend of mine 2 years ago, watched her, and she had a ball. But I never considered myself a podcaster. I just, I'm a community leader and a guy that just had to do, podcasting. I didn't even know I wanted to go until a friend of mine in a Hound, D. Scott Smith, said, hey, man, he's going. He got a speaker gig at Podfest. And he said, hey, maybe it'd be great for us to hang out. Honestly, Bruce, I thought the man just wanted to save money on hotel expenses at first. I said, it wasn't Podfest that was trying to convince me, and I wasn't trying to convince Podfest. It was this man that I respected saying, hey, this could be advantageous. It could be win-win.
Did you have any expectations?
The only expectation, and again, it wasn't easy. I had years of hard fought, all those sales tactics and everything and expectations and all the gurus. And I just doubled down on what got me here in life today, what got me here at Podfest, what got me in front of, men and women like D. Scott Smith and Kevin Smith. And I said, stop it. Stop worrying about what to say, what to think, what's going to happen. Is this going to get my return on my investment? Blah, blah, blah. And I just said, just be. So the very first thing when I got to the airport, I got to meet two guys that I have known and worked with and absolutely respect from here to Sunday, D. Scott Smith and Russ Hedge. And then they picked up a stray, right? Because we're the Hounds. They picked up a stray on the Hoover app at Podfest. And then there was Vanessa, the Vivacious, right? So we didn't even know her. We're just hanging out like the Partridge Family. From the airport, I got to meet these folks. No expectations. I already knew these people. It's just we didn't get to see in person. And the fun part is when you build authentic relationships and deepness with people, it could be years that you never met in person. And when you meet in person, Bruce, it's not weird at all. We picked up where we left off, like we've been in person for years. So when we got to the airport, we went, and then I got to hook up with Kevin Smith, the Kindness Worldwide. When I came, God's honest truth, I told myself, hey, no expectations, man. You're going to live in the moment. You're going to enjoy this moment. And I haven't left the house in 2.5 years. I haven't even went to the gas station before then, the whole month, Bruce. So for me to be actually walking around in person was really wild because I forgot how I thought. But the principles were the same on online. I just showed up, and the first person I got to see was Kevin Smith. That was it. I didn't think about it. I was like, man, here we are. All this led to this moment. And from that point on, every Hounds principle that we just naturally we did in person, and man, it paid 1,000 dividends. Chatting up with the registration volunteer ladies, right? Taking pictures. We're just excited. We were all kids, man. There was like 1,200 podcasts and content creators just running around like happy children on a field trip. And that's when I realized Podfest, somebody built a Hounds kind of mentality already in Podfest, So no, nobody was waiting to sell and stuff. Everybody was just so excited and trying to, who are you? They were curious. They were very curious.
Before we get into why it was the right room, because I think you've already established that it was.
Oh, yeah.
Before you walked into the room, and this is a very common thing, not just in business, but life in general. Did you feel that you had imposter syndrome?
That's a great question. Mostly no, and a little yes. A little yes, because first of all, mostly no, because I was surrounded by people, right? Somebody I trust who connected me already believed in me. So that helped me, right? I'm there with a purpose. I belong here, or I wouldn't be here, right? So those things were already established. But as a human being, we're not always logical. So there is that, hey, how many people are showing up in a camo hat with a $2 vest? And here's the funny part, Bruce. It didn't take very long. It was either day 1 or 2 where I saw ladies wearing chicken hats. So I wasn't even the most like, oh my God, looking dude there, right?
But what you did, one, you were you. And two, the hat, which you said you didn't even know about branding but it's become your brand.
Right.
But it's also how you stand out, how those chicken hats stand out. And it's like anything else. It's who you know that gets you in the door.
That's right.
It's what you know that makes the difference, is why you can go higher and higher on the ladder. And sometimes being memorable is almost more valuable than what you know.
If you're memorable based on who you are, not some performance you're trying to be. And that's what I did. To answer the question plainly, I reminded myself, I'm not here by accident. First of all, I'm here because of our principles and what we practice, what we preach. But then I got Kevin Smith in and other. So I'm not an imposter. Imposters can't produce intentional organic results. If anybody out there who's doing something, listen, I didn't have confidence, y'all. I had courage. I had courage to look like a jackass if that's what it was going to take, and then figure it out. Then it turns into certainty, which leads to confidence.
It's something that people are so concerned about.
Yeah.
You know, and even the most successful people that you will ever meet will question themselves and wonder how they got there. And then if you really start to reflect upon it, it's what we always talk about individually, talk about, you know, with the Hounds. It is understanding that nothing's an accident. Nothing's a coincidence. There are people that help you, that you help, people that you've never met, that because you helped somebody else, they get helped. And it's just that ongoing thing. But it's so easy to think, I don't belong here. I didn't earn this.
Belonging and trust, Bruce. You can't buy that at the corner store.
And the other thing is time. When you were standing outside of the very first room that you walked into at PodFest, what was the experience when you took that very first step?
Even though I'm not, that would pull me way into left field. That would ruin my mental, which would ruin my chances of doing business, right? So what I did was exactly what you said. I just reminded myself and grounded myself and said, hey, you're here to do what you do best. And what's that? To push up the people around me, to push up the Kevin Smith, and to be in a room of 1,200 people like that. Well, right room. That's what we keep talking about. The right room with the right people. You don't have to perform like a circus monkey. You just have to be. Remember, in dating, the most attractive man and woman doesn't need a sales pitch. You just need to be.
There's a lot that has been discussed about the most attractive person in the room, and nobody walks up to talk to them.
I didn't wait for someone to talk to me. I talked to them. Because you'll never know who admires you. You never know what people are truly thinking. And so you may think, well, they don't like me. Well, maybe they're intimidated by you. Who knows? So I didn't care. That's what I mean. Drop it. Here's what speed dating, y'all. It's the same concept. We did this at PodFest. I said, look, I'll go run around and smile at 10 people. Maybe 8 of them smile back. Then I talk to those 8. Maybe 4 want to continue the convo. You get down to it. Now you got 2 people speaking redneck. There were 2 women. Me and D. Scott Smith, right? I call him Big Texas because we're friends. But we were out there, and he had that big old hat and the big old boots on, the big Texas shirt, the flag shirt. And I'm standing there like me. 2 ladies come in, and they're from Alberta, Canada. These ladies were ranch and equine, and they walked in. What do you think happened, y'all? We were eating breakfast, and they turned around and beeline straight to me and D. Scott, right? Why? Because comfort.
Relatable.
Absolutely. And they beeline to us. And what did we do? Oh, I'm so glad somebody else looks like us too. And then from there, we just started sharing. We started doing our thing. And Kevin Smith, right? You know how powerful that is? They never going to remember a sales pitch I could have gave them, but they'll never forget that. And guess who came on my Women's Month show, our campaign? Yeah, one of those ladies, right?
When people are standing outside of the room, or even before that, they're trying to decide, do they even want to go in the room? What is the advice that you give them when they're debating, should I go or should I stay?
Yeah.
Clash.
First of all, horse before the cart. What's that mean? In this case, in all cases, in business, internal clarity. You got to show up knowing more so who you are. Understand that, right? What do I serve? What do I do? Why? The intrinsic, right? Well, I help people do X. Yeah, but I help people do X because it's keeping them up at 2 a.m. and they feel like a phony. That's really what I'm doing. So when you come in dialed in about what you can bring and the offers and the things that you do, that's where it starts, right? And then, well, should I stay or should I go? You should always go. You should always test it. If I go into a room, and I did this, and the only regret I had about that room was not leaving faster. Now, you can't control whether that room is for you or not. I mean, you can get an idea, but sometimes you just get side-blinded, But I can control it. If I walk into the wrong room, I can walk the hell out of it really as fast as I walked in it. So be more scared. People are scared that they're going to look stupid. They're going to get to the wrong place. I challenge you this. Be more, if you're going to be scared at all, be more afraid of the missed opportunities because you didn't have the courage to try it. And the God's honest truth is they ain't thinking about you. They're concerned with their own problems.
Most of the time, if you're in sales, you're not going to sell 90, 100% of the pitches that you make. It's a small percentage. If you hit 3 out of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame. That means you failed 70% of the time. And that, even for the most successful people, we struggle with that because.
Well, I sat down and I just happened to talk to Scott. And I said, well, Scott, I appreciate it. And I said, but it just maybe not meant to be. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not a petty man. I use things as motivation and inspiration. And he said, hang on a second. Picks up the phone, makes a phone call, leaves a voice message. 2 days later, I'm having a discussion about being a possible speaker and collaboration. That was a failure. But here's what I'm going to encourage people. So if I can't get in by traditional means and channels, then it's a new game. What's the quote cheat code for a new video game? It's relationships, right? And my ADHD kicked in and the other person responded well. And we spent 2.5 hours and probably 10 minutes of that was talking about the actual thing. And I realized that's what it is. And then that snowball effect continued. So instead of, I said, well, let's put together, a private showing for their new documentary film and invite those people from Podfest. But we did, and we just kept, and so they came. They're like curiosity. There's value. I didn't say anything. I said, thank you for coming. If you see value, share it. Here's what you do. And I left them alone. That is anti almost every sales thing you'll ever see. Why don't we, for the first time, bring the documentary film in? Why not? Do you think emails and drip funnels and all of that stuff, if we led with that, Bruce, that wouldn't have worked?
It goes back to what we talked in a previous episode. It's belly to belly. It's like, know, and trust. It's the antithesis of where people think business is going through AI. Right. It's the authenticity. I think that's really the case. And, we've talked about on previous episodes, authenticity and being who you are is so very, very important because it's the same as people who lie constantly. After a while, you lose track of your lies and you either don't know how to tell the truth or you start believing the lies. And at the end of the day, most people will no longer want to do business with people that they don't trust. You can know somebody and then determine whether or not you like them. And there are people in our lives that we like and that we know, but we do not trust.
We live in an AI generated world where we can't tell the difference between reality and fake. And it's really bothering us. I don't want to see a fake video. I want to see a video of you and know that's real and relatable.
Because, I cannot tell you how many times I get reached out to because, I can create this AI avatar for your clients. Just type in, information and I can produce the podcast for you. And, you wouldn't have to do the interviews. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to create content that is not authentic. I have turned down working with people that I did not like, know, or trust. I didn't like their message. And to me, yes, could have used the money, but it's hard to put yourself behind something that you don't also believe in. And you and I would not be having this conversation if we didn't know, like, and trust each other. And that happened over time. And I got involved in the Hounds and saw how it was a different community. And, I said this in a previous episode, the word community is really what you have and what you continue to build. And in communities, people look out for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't manufacture trust, but you sure as shit can accelerate it and make it intentional. And that's the point of the ecosystem. That's why somebody visioned people coming along, instead of worrying about what people do and what to sell, they created an ecosystem, a culture that would allow people to shine, to allow them to connect and get on shows and learn and grow. It allowed it how to swim in water. You just got to put its butt back in the water. And that's what we see ourselves doing. We're not manufacturing it. We're just saying, listen, if I take a whole bunch of people, again, Dr. X, Professor X, whatever, but I'm like the symphony. I'm too busy working, but here's the jam. Look at yourself not as some just operator or salesperson or order taker. See yourself as the symphony director, right? Who pays $1,000 to see a man or woman move sticks around? No one. But without that person conducting it, it's not worth $1,000, Bruce.
It's the backbone. And they're like, yes, thank you for this award. But if it wasn't for X, Y, and Z, I wouldn't even be here. And it could be, sometimes it's just they just gave them a donut when they were a little weak. Maybe it was their agent who said, no, you really need to do this even. And,
bingo. It say, well, what if it didn't work? What if it did? Why me? Why not you? Everything we do to enable and help people, build trusted businesses that are profitable and longevity and build legacy. It's really, really simple. Not easy. You got to figure it out. You got to do the work, but it is simple. And it goes back to what you said. I pushed up Kevin, and what did he do? He talked about the Hounds. The actor gets all the award. Look, Denzel is Denzel, man. That's who we paid to see. Well, what does Denzel do? Denzel goes, hey, the director and the other people and the stuntmen and everybody else, he shines the light on them. What do you do? What's your stuff? It's a dream, because I spent 15 years trying to convince people to listen to me, and nobody did it. As soon as I gave up, said, I'm going to go love on other people. And if you do it with the right people, that's the key. Right room, right people. My takeaway is simple. Instead of trying to figure out how to persuade and all of this, how about you call somebody and say, hey, listen, I respect you because you're in marketing or healthcare, and I want to truly serve people in this arena. Connect us. Right. And the last thing, Bruce, here's my guy, and this is why it works. My objective is one thing fundamentally: to make sure that person likes Bruce better for doing it. So if Bruce introduces Sally, boy, I want Sally to go back and go, wow. And you know what I did? Right, Bruce, you're helping me. I'm helping you. We're leveling each other up, man. And that's very, very fun. It's very intentional. It's attractive to other high-level people, and it's profitable. People stop struggling, get out there and make friends. Because, yeah, we hear Bill Gates and, we hear the famous people say it. But today you've heard real people, right? I'm going to challenge you with, give me one reason you could. Give me one reason why you could. That'll stop you for a while.
And that's the perfect place to end this segment, because the one thing that is the reason you put the right foot in front of the left foot and walk into the right room.
Bingo. You stop asking what's the worst case that can happen. What if it did? Well, what if I put a camo hat on and everybody laughs at me? It happened. And now it's changing lives. It's your life, and act like it. Don't let people and your assumptions steal that. Go find the right people like Bruce Silverman. Go find people out there that will believe in you. Absolutely.
Thanks so much for being with us. He's Mike. I'm Bruce. This is the Redneck Connector, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.
And this is UX Happens in RVA. On the show, we try to help you understand the experience of your customers, and when there's friction points, then oftentimes customers leave and revenue leaves with it. But when we can proactively solve those friction points, then customers stay and the revenue stays. Today, Mike, we're going to have a little deja vu. We're going to talk about click to cancel.
And you were the one who made that famous in my book.
Okay.
So for folks who don't understand, for the lay people, it is where it's easy to get into.
Uh-huh.
Like the Hotel California. Hard to get out.
Right.
So to get in, all I got to do is The button is there. It says, "Hey, I'm available. I'm friendly." That's to get in.
Right.
Now we've had a falling out. I don't want it anymore. I can't find you.
Right. It's very difficult to get out. All the hurdles and everything to just for you to be able to get out.
So almost a year and a half, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, you told us about that thing.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, we see a class action lawsuit
Right.
that people are paying because. So now we are coming up. Today is July the 2nd, and you had said law went into effect.
Yes, definitely. So let me just do a little recap. So click to cancel was a rule proposed by the FTC that anytime a customer was in like a subscription, they should be able to cancel the subscription in an easy manner and in the same manner in which they got the subscription. So if you bought it online, you should be able to cancel online. You shouldn't have to call or go into somewhere to do it, right? Now, unfortunately, the court struck that down for procedural rules with it. But then there was the Amazon FTC case against Amazon, which had been going on for several years. But when they settled it for $2.5 billion, billion with a B, one of the requirements was that Amazon had to make sure with their subscriptions like Prime, because this was related to Prime, that it was as easy to sign up for it as it was to cancel it, and you couldn't have any deceptive practices, which is what the FTC had sued Amazon for. So although that specific rule, click to cancel, didn't go in effect, the FTC under other legislation and rules was holding Amazon accountable for that, right? So now today, Virginia in the General Assembly this year passed click to cancel type rules for us here in Virginia, right? And it went in effect yesterday, July the 1st. So what are the requirements on it? If you have like the automatic subscription, it has to be clear and conspicuous how you're able to cancel it. And there are a lot of, this legislation and, legislative wording and legal wording. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just kind of giving you the overview. Talk to your particular lawyer or professional about this. But clear and conspicuous there, it talks about how you should be able to see it or hear it, so that people aren't getting into things and can't get it out. Right. What that thing that makes me think about the Roach Motel with
just went in, lights on, friendly music.
Yeah. But that was just be a commercial about that. Roach Motel.
And next thing you know, you get in.
But you can't get out, right?
It's like deceptive practices.
Yes.
Like back in the day, I used to go to a nightclub or two. Mm-hmm. The music, now you paid up front. The music is pumping. It sounds like amazing. You go around the corner. There's 3 people in there. It's you bought something.
Right.
But now this says you bought it. We can help you get out. When I bought it, it was on page 1.
Right.
Now, when I want to opt out or cancel, it's on page 27 at the bottom.
Right. Yes. And going through all of that. And so the thing about it is some businesses have that strategy. Okay, we're just going to make it challenging for people. That's part of their business.
Yes, and I've been there.
Yes.
Part of the sales model is you want to go in deeper and wider, because if a person wants to leave, we kind of got to want to we don't want to make it easy.
Right. Yes. But you can't, with deceptive practices and with this new click to cancel rule, you can't do a lot of these things to stop people.
Holding people hostage.
Sure, and all like that. And so, that for me, that shows up when I'm doing, like research and usability testing, and customers are frustrated because they're trying to do something, right? And they aren't able to do it. And so it goes from, so it's kind of like a spectrum. Some things, on a continuum. Some things, okay, that's friction and stuff like that. And then people say, oh, well, that's, customer satisfaction. That's,
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that you can come on down this line till you start going into legal things, and that you are at risk because you're actually breaking a law, what they say.
But Lisa, if
Yes.
we're going down that route, we didn't just get to the railroad crossing barrier.
Right.
We did not. We ran across a rumple strip, a caution sign, a blinking yellow. There were signs along the way that this could be problematic. Some people in their business model don't mind that. Others, it's a friction point, and opportunities start to fall away.
Right. Yes.
And that's because of this, it's that you talk to business owners with your survey to understand friction points. I'm sure this was, this is something here that is a problem for people. And it's funny that Virginia carried it on with the federal government.
Did not, right. Yes.
That's different.
Yes, definitely. And so, so I've been sort of studying, looking at how this continuing like that. Sometimes these things that, this is in our business strategy can go over that line. So that's something to be aware of. And thinking about it is particularly around websites and apps and stuff like that. Who's on, your product and your designer and development team and researcher, making sure they are aware of that because they're designing these things, right? And somebody says, oh, we have a goal that we need to have such and such retention. Well, then they start, designing and creating stuff to try to hold people in because they want to hit that retention level. But there's actually now there are things that you can't do in that aspect.
Lisa Dance is here, our UX expert. You had a conversation a while back that you were having a contentious operation, a conversation with a bot.
Yeah.
My wife had one the other day.
Okay.
And I think if she could have got her hands on the bot, he might have been in trouble.
Oh, goodness.
Because, and it's like you're calling the company and the bot transfers you to another one who is a higher, okay, who did you just pass me along to? A lot of times companies use those so much that you get into a circle, the bot can't get it.
Right. Because the bot is designed on certain parameters and it's not been trained in your particular type of issue, right? And I think that's the issue sometimes of just throwing these things out, just deploying them, is really understanding the types of issues and why customers contact you, so that you're designing it for those particular things.
How can we reach Lisa Dance out there?
My website, serviceease.net, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Lisa D. Dance.
So Lisa's walking around. She has her frustration buzzer. Have you had any instances recently where you needed to pull that one out?
Oh yes,
Oh yes.
There are many and far between. Well, let me give you a update. You remember a couple of weeks ago I talked about the person who had the Apple wallet and
yes,
they couldn't get their money out with it. And they had made 28 contacts between Apple and Green Dot Bank about it. Well, they finally got someone been a little bit more authority, and they said they hadn't heard anything about the issue, and they said that they were going to send them their money. So they next day mailed it, and they got their $1,900.
They were made whole.
They were made whole, but that was over 2 weeks and 28 calls and emails later. How much time did that person spent in that?
So if I was supposed to get $1,857 to make me whole, they sent $1,857, not taking into account
Right.
the time
Right.
that I put in to this. And so when that happens, do they really have me as a satisfied customer?
Right.
I mean, I got my money back.
Right. Yeah, no, not as a
No, because I can't.
Yes.
I can't get that time back.
Right. No.
Lisa Dance is here. So wait a second. Along with that, research and keeping data correct. So now of those 28 contacts, if it's not stored somewhere,
right.
I was called number 1. You were called number 4. Jim was 7. This person's. You're telling me. I spoke to someone, maybe they're nice with you because, I mean, I'm the first person to talk to. You're the third person. Maybe you're okay. By the time they get to that 10th person,
right.
and they got to go through the whole story, well, I think this lady I talked to, 2 Mondays ago, she said this. And then before that, I talked to a guy who said, you as a company do not have that ability to track that. Well, you do, you're just not going to put it together to have a clear understanding of where the problem is.
Right. Well, large companies, they, have that data and some work to identify that, but does it ever actually get back to maybe the technical issue of it or the product issue of it? Sometimes not. And then taking it back to the research I did with local small and mid-sized businesses, one thing that 83% of them were using informal conversations as far as for customer feedback. And then the other things they did do, they looked at online reviews, social media comments, and support calls with it. But all of those things are, at least for the informal conversations, they may not be tracking them. Right. And then the other 3 that I named, those are customer initiated and oftentimes around the issue, right? With it. So they may be tracking that a little bit. So that maybe gives them some awareness of this particular problem, but they may not be actually getting awareness of all the things.
So they're not getting a full picture.
A full picture.
It's like putting a puzzle together and you don't have all the pieces.
Right, definitely. So one thing is that businesses, you need to have a structured, proactive, you going out and getting customer feedback. And that does not mean sending a survey every time they blink at you. Because that customers are really exhausted with that. But, a periodic to check in and to really understand, especially on a big impactful transaction or service, so you can understand, what's going right and what's going wrong, and keep making sure that you're documenting it so that you can see the whole picture.
Do you think people document it?
Well, for the ones I've said with the informal conversations, probably not.
No.
But ones that are actually putting in this proactive structured approach.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
And the power of that is important.
Right, definitely. I can look at what feedback it is, and you might have numerical, like a number, but you also have a couple of open-ended, so you can actually get in their words what's happening with it, and then you'll be able to study with their patterns across different customers.
Lisa Dance here, our UX expert. Like I said, a lot of times when you meet an organization, they're trying to shuffle you all down to the IT department.
Right.
And you're like, no, this is a business conversation.
This is yes, because we part of your business strategy is how do you want to interact with your customers and deliver on the product or service that you are offering to them, right? and that's a big piece. The technology is just one of the ways, right?
That's true.
Because it's also a lot of times issues can be around training. It can be around technology, but it's like, do they talk to each other, and what's the gaps when they don't talk to each other? You know what I'm saying? And what your processes are to deliver.
It runs, so when there's a gap in communication,
Right.
and then this department starts pointing to that, you're there when you deliver the results for your clients. You're explaining to them, this is a gap, this is a problem here. Because typically when you have that, people start pointing.
Right.
It's not us, it's them.
Right. And so like with my candle metaphor, I, illuminate, help put light on where those gaps are, the gaps between what you think, what you believe your customers' experience is and what customers actually experience, the gaps between, different parts of the organization, and that they don't meet when they're supposed to be delivering a service. You know what I'm saying? Sales is selling something, but operations is delivering something, but that doesn't meet. Like those are gaps where customers go.
Yeah, deals go to die, they fall in the cracks because those two departments really are different people. They're different.
Yeah.
Sales people are go, let's go get them. Right. And operations people are saying, the sales, we started one.
Right.
Don't show up in here anytime.
Yeah, well, operations, they know the constraints of, how many people they have, what the technology does, what they have on inventory. Like they, with the, the paperwork and the processes that have to happen to deliver this. So they know all of those constraints. Yeah.
Lisa Dance is here on the Mike. This is the Lisa Dance Show. She is our UX expert. Service Ease is the name of the company. So when you work with an organization, what's the first couple conversations, what are they based around? So
the first conversation is a discovery call. I want to understand what kind of company you are, where you are, what you feel like are your pain points, and what are your goals, what are you trying to accomplish right now. And then typically through that conversation, we can kind of narrow down on what's the best, highest, thing that we could do right now. Right? What's the biggest impact with it? And so typically after that conversation, I'll make a proposal on how we could, how I could help you with that initiative. So maybe you're like, people are coming to my website but they aren't buying. Well, then I put a proposal on that's how I might look at that. I could do a UX audit and I go through and look at it from UX best practices. I could do some testing with like actual customers and see how they are coming to the website and what they're looking for and what's working and what's not working for it. So I could do proposals on like those different types of options with it. And then, once that's in the proposal and we're ready to go, then we'll have a kickoff call, and I have the timeline of what I'm going to work on and what is going to be delivered, and that we go from there.
Lisa Dan, for taking our show on the road. It is a road show. It's a road trip. Yes. Going to the Branch Museum.
Yes.
What can people expect that day?
So at the Branch Museum, they're having an exhibit, Americana, and it's talking about America as a brand, and it has a also component of who was left out of that brand. And so how we're going to have a conversation about that and how that connects to brands as companies and how customers have a different lived experience than what the brand actually is promising. And so we're kind of going to talk about the disconnect between those. And so we'll be talking with some of the brand staff, and you'll have opportunity to look at the exhibit as well. So that's on July 22nd, 10 a.m. And it's the Branch Museum. It's right here in Richmond on Monument.
Lisa Dance, always known for putting on big and cool things. You know, we do the UX one over at the University of Richmond. It's nice, the crowd is there. And it takes people speaking English. You're speaking English to the people, and they're speaking in English too, because it's not caught up in a bunch of jargon, and having them understand this is a business solution. It's not on the technologies. I mean, it could be, but a lot of times this is conversations and understanding that gap, so we don't have, you know, the pointing every which way.
Definitely. And to say it like this is all businesses have goals that they want to accomplish. It's sales, it's, you know, something, sales, particular types of units, different partnerships, you know, numbers that they're trying to meet. And if you're having trouble meeting them, then we start needing to do some research. And if we're looking at how, you know, how your customers are experiencing it, that definitely impacts what you're hitting your numbers or not.
So Lisa, real quick, let's go through the phases again. There's customer service. That's what typically that we think of. We know we went in there and right off the bat, we're not going to say the user experience was horrible. Right. We're going to say customer service wasn't good.
Right. And that's a sort of, you're thinking more like what your interaction was with a particular person, and particularly if you talk with someone or you had an issue. Right?
Yes. The next step is
customer experience. So that's thinking about all the touch points that a customer can experience in your business, right? So the phone, in person, online on a website or an app, a kiosk in a store,
the parking lot.
It's the whole.
It's everything.
It's everything, right? So that's massive, and that's something that has to be. If to do it well, you have to have some planning, you know, an intention about it.
And the other sad part about that is, it's done well. We don't notice and think about it.
Right. Yeah.
We're just like, okay.
Yeah. It was smooth sailing. Phew. You know what I mean?
Very rarely go walk. I mean, there are times we went to Aldi the other day, and we walked out like, man, that was, you know, it's like the line got a little longer. So it opens, line clears out. Boop, boop. There's never a question of, excuse me, what's the price of this thing? It's really like a good customer experience, and that's one of the few times we walk out and say, that was great. The flip side to that is, the second something goes wrong, we're like, customer service was horrible. We're not even to the car, and we're just lighting this place up.
Right, definitely. But on the other hand, we may not say notice and go out and say, "Oh, was a wonderful experience," but you do tend to rely on them, right?
Yes.
You come back to it because you're expecting that, and then when it changes, you're like, you know, because that's
something's wrong.
Yeah, because that's not consistently their pattern with it. So there's a reliability and a customer loyalty oftentimes with it when you're having a good customer experience, and then to cue into talking about user experience, you know, people typically, it's like someone's using a particular thing and that particular interaction. That's typically what people think about as user experience. It can still be across several different touch points, but it's like that interaction right at that one and that one and that one. That to be studied. So you're testing that, you're seeing how customers react to it. Do they understand what they're supposed to do? You know, they're using plain language. Are the next steps easy to understand and obvious to you? You know, and that kind of goes back to why the experience in talking about that click to cancel. Is that is the step that you can actually cancel clear and conspicuous. And so that's kind of how that comes into like user experience. And
click to cancel, that is something, it's like a newspaper printing a retraction. It didn't go on page one.
Right.
It went on page, because the friction points those make it harder for people to do business. A lot of times people will not come out and run up to the customer service desk and complain. And even if they did, is there a book, or how do we take that complaint as opposed to, yes, ma'am, thank you, we're so sorry, and move on?
Right.
It wasn't captured for Lisa to say, hey, what's your data? Like, how are you capturing this?
Right, because then that goes back to, because the person that often the times that the customer's complaining to is not the person who can actually make that change. And then in some organizations, the person the customer's talking to doesn't even know who they can contact to tell them that this is a problem that they've seen, not with just that one customer, but several customers. Yes.
It's the waitress at the restaurant taking the heat.
Right, yeah.
The waitress didn't cook the food.
Right.
The waiter didn't. They're just bringing it to you.
Right.
But a lot of times a person cannot run to the kitchen and say, I'm very unhappy with this.
Right, yes. The waitress might can come to the kitchen and say, hey, it was the steak's been too salted tonight. They could say that. But if there's corporate and it's a certain recipe that the steak has to have, then that's not getting back to the people who have dictated that the steak has to have this recipe.
And the waitress may not want to take their life in their own hands going back to that one. So that is another friction point. That's an internal one that really came about because somebody complained about. Those are the friction points. Click to cancel. How lucky are we that that's in Virginia, Lisa?
Yes, I think they're very lucky because, customers aren't paying things that they should not pay for, that they don't want, they no longer want it. And they have the ability to be able to cancel it in an easy manner. Yes. And the companies that are doing it right, they should get rewarded for it, right? And the ones that are not doing it right, then there are penalties for it.
There you go, Lisa Dance. How can people find you out there, ma'am?
You can find me at serviceease.net or on LinkedIn at Lisa D. Dance.
There you go.